Title: 6 Common Parenting Mistakes That Can Raise a Baby's Stress Without You Realizing It. A baby's stress rarely looks dramatic at first. Sometimes it looks like fussiness, clinginess, short naps, or eyes turning away. And here's the hard part. Loving parents can accidentally create that stress while thinking they are doing everything right. Because babies cannot explain what overwhelms them, adults often miss the message. The behavior gets noticed, but the meaning doesn't. A baby arching backward might not be difficult. Fighting sleep might not mean stubbornness. Crying longer might mean overload instead. Sometimes the mistake is not what you do, it is what your baby experiences inside your perfectly ordinary daily routine. And once you see these hidden stress triggers, everyday moments change. Diapers, naps, feedings, even your facial expression suddenly matter. This is not about becoming a perfect parent. It is about noticing 6 common patterns that raise stress in babies. And the first one starts with love. It happens when parents keep engaging after the baby has already said enough. Babies do not use words, but they absolutely communicate limits. They yawn, look away, splay fingers, stiffen, or squirm suddenly. Many parents see those signals and try harder. More bouncing, more singing, more smiling, more stimulation, exactly when calmness matters. To an adult, extra attention feels loving. To a baby with a flooded nervous system, it can feel like pressure. That is why some babies cry harder while being entertained. They are not rejecting you, they are begging for less. Think about a bright room, talking relatives, a missed nap, and a parent leaning closer. That combination can feel enormous. The hidden mistake is assuming more connection always helps, but sometimes connection means reducing input, softening your voice, and pausing. This is where emotional safety starts becoming practical. Safety is not just cuddles. Safety is about protecting the baby's bandwidth. When you notice a turned head and respond by dimming the room, slowing movement, and whispering, your baby learns safety. My signals change what happens next. That tiny pattern helps shape regulation because the brain grows through repeated emotional outcomes. The second mistake feels almost unavoidable, especially on exhausting days. It is responding to crying like a problem to a race. When a baby cries, every adult nervous system gets activated. Your heart races, your thoughts speed up, you want silence. So feeding becomes faster, rocking becomes harder, shushing becomes louder, and frustration quietly enters the room. Babies notice that immediately. Even before babies understand language, they read rhythm, muscle tone, breathing, and facial tension. They feel your urgency as pressure. That does not mean you must stay calm. It means your regulation matters more than your technique in stressful moments. A baby held by a tense parent can escalate, not because the parent failed, but because 2 nervous systems synchronize. This is called co-regulation, and it begins long before self-soothing. First, your baby borrows calm from you repeatedly. If your hands are gentle but your body says panic, the body usually wins. Babies trust nervous system truth first. So sometimes the most helpful thing is not another trick. It is one slow breath, softer shoulders, and slower pace. That shift lowers stress hormones for both of you. Cortisol eases when the environment starts feeling predictable instead of urgent. And predictability brings us to the third mistake. Babies get stressed when their world changes faster than brains can organize. Adults transition constantly without thinking. Lights go on, clothes come off, car seats buckle, bassinets appear, voices suddenly change tone. But for babies, especially young ones, transitions can feel like losing the map. One state disappears before another feels safe. Diaper change after deep play can trigger tears, not because diapers are terrible, but because the shift felt abrupt. The hidden mistake is moving a baby through the day with efficiency instead of preparation. Fast care can feel loud. Simple narration changes everything. I am picking you up. We are turning off the water. Now the blanket is coming. Words alone do not create safety, but paired with a consistent tone, they give the nervous system a bridge forward. That matters because the baby brain is building predictions all day. Prediction is calming. Chaos is expensive for the body. When routines feel gentle and transitions get signaled, babies cry less. Not because they are easier, but because they understand. The fourth mistake is especially invisible in busy homes. It is letting adult emotion fill the room unfiltered and unexplained. Babies are not mini adults, but they are emotional detectives. They hear sharp voices, slammed cabinets, and strained silence too. They do not know if the tension is about bills, work, or traffic. They only know the air feels different. A baby cannot think, "Mom is stressed, but I am safe." The baby's body assumes, "Something is wrong around me." This is why your face matters so much. Even still face experiments show babies react quickly when emotional connection disappears. When adults get overwhelmed and go flat, sharp, or distracted, babies can become clingier or fussier without any obvious cause. The mistake is not having hard feelings. The mistake is forgetting to reconnect after the emotional weather passes through you. A reset teaches enormous safety. That can sound like mommy is frustrated, but I am here and you are safe. Your baby will not understand every word, but the rhythm of repair lands deeply, and repair is what builds trust. The fifth mistake surprises parents because it looks responsible. It is stretching wake windows or bedtime after babies cross exhaustion. When babies seem wired, parents often assume they are not tired, but overtired babies frequently look more alert, not less. That is the trap. Stress chemicals can keep a baby revved up, even while the body desperately needs rest now. Then parents try more play, more lights, or another errand. Meanwhile, cortisol rises and settling becomes even harder for everyone. Sleep is not just about rest. It is one of the brain's main recovery tools, especially during explosive early development. A tired baby does not need better performance. That baby usually needs fewer inputs, quicker protection, and help coming down. This connects to something many parents never get told. Stress and sleep are partners, and each can worsen the other. The sixth mistake is deeply modern, and it often hides in plain sight. It is being physically present but divided. A baby studies your faith like a mirror for the world. When your eyes keep leaving, uncertainty quietly grows inside. Phones are not evil, and parents need real life, but frequent partial attention can feel like repeated micro-disconnections daily. Serve and return is the simple name for how babies learn. They signal, you answer, and the brain wires accordingly. If the return keeps getting interrupted, delayed, or emotionally thin, babies can work harder to pull connection back again desperately. Sometimes that looks like whining. Sometimes it looks like random crying. Sometimes it looks like suddenly needing your body again. What adults call needy behavior is often a nervous system checking signal. Are you with me? Am I emotionally held? And when that signal gets answered consistently, stress usually drops. Babies become freer to explore when connection stops feeling uncertain. Now here's the uncomfortable truth beneath all 6 mistakes. None of them require bad intentions. They only require overload. Overloaded parents move faster, miss cues, multitask more, and recover slower. That is why compassion matters as much as information. You cannot create a calm baby by performing perfectly. You create calm by becoming more readable, more responsive, and repairable. Readable means your cues make sense. Responsive means you notice the baby's state. Repairable means you come back after disconnection. That last part may matter most. Babies do not need a never broken bond. They need a bond that recovers. So if you recognize yourself in these mistakes, breathe. Recognition is not failure. It is the moment patterns become possible. Maybe you overstimulated yesterday. Maybe you rushed through crying this morning. Maybe bedtime came too late again. That is human. What matters next is incredibly small and incredibly powerful. One pause before pickup. One softer face. One earlier bedtime tonight. Babies are shaped by repetition, not isolated moments. One stressful afternoon does not define attachment. Patterns repeated over time do. And attachment is not about making a baby dependent forever. Secure attachment actually supports independence because safety frees exploration later. That is one of parenting's strangest truths. Babies cling most when connection feels shaky, not when connection feels reliably there. So reducing stress is not spoiling. It is teaching the body that closeness, sleep, crying, and change can stay safe. And when the body learns safety, the brain can spend less energy on survival and more on growth and learning. That is why emotional safety is not a soft extra. It is a biological condition that supports healthy development overall. Oxytocin helps here, though you do not need the word to use it. Touch, eye contact, and soothing. Increase connection. Connection does not erase every cry. Babies still protest, startle, hunger, and tire. But connected care changes what stress teaches. Without support, stress can say the world is too much. With support, stress can say moments pass and help arrives. That is the message beneath feeding struggles, short naps, clinginess, and evening meltdowns. Often the baby is asking, "Help me. Help me slow this down. Help me organize this feeling. Help me trust that somebody stronger can carry it safely." And that stronger person does not need perfection. Your baby mainly needs presence that feels steady enough to lean on. Even one change in how you respond can alter the emotional tone of an entire day. Babies feel small shifts. A slower diaper change can reduce tears. A calmer response to crying can shorten storms. Naps can rescue evenings too. And sometimes the biggest shift is inside you. When you stop seeing behavior as misbehavior, your patience gets more intelligent. Instead of asking, "How do I stop this?" you start asking, "What is my baby's body trying to say now?" That question changes everything because it turns conflict into information. And information heard with love becomes connection and relief quickly. Once you understand the hidden meaning, your baby's hardest moments stop looking random. They start looking readable and changeable too. That is deeply hopeful because what is readable can be responded to, and what is responded to can soften again. No parent catches every cue. No baby has a perfectly smooth day. Healthy bonding was never built on flawless timing. It is built in thousands of ordinary repairs. Pick up, pause, soothe, notice, adjust, reconnect. That is where security grows. So if this video leaves you with one image, let it be this: your baby is not giving trouble today. Your baby is carrying sensations, needs, and immature stress responses in a tiny body that depends on your interpretation completely. And when your interpretation becomes softer and wiser, your baby's world often becomes softer too. That is powerful parenting indeed. Not louder parenting, not stricter parenting, not endlessly stimulating parenting, just parenting that listens beneath the behavior for the feeling. Because beneath the behavior, there's almost always a feeling, and beneath the feeling, there is a need waiting quietly. When parents learn to notice that layer, babies do not just calm down more easily, they feel more deeply known. And being known is one of the first forms of safety. It tells the nervous system, "I am not alone." That message is what many babies are really seeking, even in tears. Not perfect soothing, not constant happiness, just togetherness. So tonight, when your baby cries, resists sleep, or clings unexpectedly, try listening for the question underneath that behavior gently. Is this too much? Did something shift too fast? Am I tired? Are you here with me? Can I settle? You will not answer perfectly every time, but even asking changes how you show up, and babies feel that difference. That is the quiet power of this whole conversation. Awareness changes presence, and presence changes the emotional climate around babies. And climate matters more than single moments. A generally safe atmosphere can absorb occasional mistakes without changing the deeper story. Because the story your baby is writing is not, "My parent never missed me." It is, "I was found again." Found after crying. Found after overwhelm. Found after your own bad moment. That is how trust becomes memory over time. And memory in infancy is not a spoken story. It is a body-level expectation about what closeness feels like. If closeness usually feels responsive, gentle, and repairable, stress has less power to turn everyday life into alarm for babies. That is a beautiful thing to remember on messy days. Your baby is learning your pattern, not grading your performance. So be kind to the baby, yes, but be kind to the parent too. Calm grows best where compassion lives. And if you can remember that while the crying rises, the resisting starts, or the evening unravels, something shifts inside. Not because your baby suddenly becomes easier, but because both of you feel less alone inside the hard moment together.